Hey, what's going on, everybody? We are live. So welcome to Practically Tactical. This is our live show streaming to you on YouTube. You can catch all of our shows on iTunes in a podcast format. You guys are familiar with all the stuff here. So for everybody out there, we're supposed to have some more guys joining us here. Haven't heard anything, so I'm dependent on everybody out there and dependent on these two guys to ask Aaron a bunch of questions. So for everybody out there, put your questions in the chat, and we will be happily able to get to them. So do that. Also, while you're putting the questions in, please click that like and share button. I would greatly appreciate it. So I want to plug a couple things here before we go to the show. The night they're recording this, there's like a billion other chats going on. One that I do want to point out is Jeff Bluven, Arm Dynamics, is doing a show with William April right now as well. So when you're done watching this, go to his channel and watch that one. It's going to be a really good one. Also, this is our continuing of our EDC April, so thumbs up to these two dudes coming on the show, and thumbs up to Aaron coming on too, because you know, for those that have watched Aaron before, or AA Ron, sorry, I gotta say his name right, AA Ron, he's been there, done that, and all. So I think it's gonna be a really good show based off of that. So again, I really thank these two guys for coming on and talking about their EDC. Last thing I want to plug is at the recording of this, which is April 22nd. There's 7 days left on Billy Johnson's Kickstarter, Protecting Liberty, and it's far behind, but I really, really think that if we can spread the word and get the message out there, we can make it happen. If anybody out there is going to make a documentary, a pro-Second Amendment, pro-gun, pro-fact documentary, it's going to be him. So for everybody out there, please, he was on the previous episode that we've recorded, or just search Protecting Liberty. You'll find it. Please go check it out, share it, support it. If you can donate, that's great too. But that's something I kind of wanted to plug to try to do. So, but other than that, let's go ahead and start the show. Welcome to Practically Tactical, episode 72, brought to you by the Firearms Radio Network. The Practically Tactical show is a slightly more practical approach to the firearms lifestyle. The show features a roundtable discussion about guns, gear, shooting, and EDC with some of the best firearms instructors, shooters, and figures in the firearms industry. For more information on the show, links to our guest guns and gear we discuss, please visit practacpodcast.com/072. On this episode, we got our fourth installment of our April EDC series. We have on Steve, we have on hopefully Josh, and we have Scott on, and then we have, of course, AA Ron from Solo Defense. So for all you guys out there, I'm going to make you all answer at the same time here. Thank you guys for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate that.
Thanks.
Yep, for sure.
Wow, all nice, and no one yelled at each other or talked over each other. Man. See?
You warned us. You gave us a warning, so we were like,
I think they're all absorbing your southern charm there, AA Ron.
That's what it is.
It happens.
By the end of the show, they're just going to be the sweetest, most gentle folk you've ever seen.
It's that milky southern drawl he has. It just melts you.
That's right. It makes you want Bojangles and sweet tea.
I need to get some sweet tea. It's going to be a long show.
Yeah. But we're continuing our April EDC series here, and hopefully we'll have a few guys join us here as we start the show. So basically it's going to run the same as before, and we're going to jump into it here. And, of course, we got our live YouTube audience out there. So if you're out here listening on podcast, please feel free to join us during our live shows. We're doing it every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And, of course, you can find the YouTube channel by going to youtube.com/practicallytactical. So Steve and your name's escaping for the second here. I'm going to get it though. Scott, there we go.
Yeah.
We should have you two. Yeah, that'll make it easier. We should have you two arm wrestle over the internet to see who goes first. Is that doable?
Let's do a virtual arm wrestle. So let's do stats. How big are you? How much you weigh?
Okay. I mean this is a good thing, Steve, but you win.
Okay.
In a good way.
Rock, paper, scissors might have been easier.
Yeah.
Okay.
But let's jump to Steve here first. Okay. So, Steve, what do you carry, buddy?
I carry a little bit of everything. You just want me to go through all the whole rig?
Yep.
Okay. So, I carry everything on an Aries belt. I kind of put it together for us here. So I got an Aries Aegis belt, black on black, because that's the way you be tactical.
That's right.
So everything's hanging off of that. Going around clockwise on me, I've got a Glock 19, pretty much stock. It's got a couple little doodads and what you may call it's on there. Hey, Josh.
Hey, sorry I'm late. Can you hear me?
We got you.
Internet.
Awesome. So yeah, it's pretty much stock Glockery, and it's that way for a reason. I don't. I'm of the mind, keep it stock if you have to use it. You have far less to explain. A lot like Brandon was saying last week. One thing I do have on there is the grip force, and I can explain why that's on there a little bit later. And I've got some skateboard tape because my hand's kind of big, and that helps fill it up. I thought about doing a stipple, but I know the grips can get a little bit smaller when you start trimming things down. So kind of like bigger, and this is a Gen 3, so it is what it is. So that's typically what I'm carrying. Keep that in a Raven, the Phantom. Right now I'm not using a light. Kind of go back and forth with that, but right now, as of every day, I'm just using the Raven Phantom. Going around the belt, keep a multi-tool. It's just a Leatherman. It works for me. I don't need all the cool guy stuff and the multitasker, which is so in vogue. I just need to cut stuff and bend things, so that works good for me. Inside the next thing, I got the double mag carrier. And this is a Raven as well. Do carry one extra mag on the belt, and usually one in my pocket, just cause. And I keep. This is good for the double mag carriers for taking classes and stuff, but also my light fits in there really good. I do have a flashlight holster, but they're fixed in there, and I don't have a lot of flexibility with how I can draw the light out. I seem to be able to draw it out a lot better when it's in the mag carrier. So that's where that is. And then coming around is I have the Cable R TDI. Keep on here, stock sheath, which I need. Lately, I've discovered I need to swap that out, and needs a little bit of work. I've been kind of talking with 50 Stitches in the chats. I think we'll get him to do a little bit of work on this for me. But that I keep that about 11 o'clock on my belt, just so I can, I can get it with left hand, my offhand, and also can reach it with my right hand. So that's everything on the belt that I carry. Typical stuff, a box cutter, knife, little junk. I think it was $7 at Lowe's, because I don't sharpen knives. I break them, and I'll just lose this one and give it to somebody else if it comes up missing. Typical stuff, watch. I don't smoke, but I carry a Zippo. These things have a million uses, so I just keep a Zippo because those little plastic ones will blow up on you. With some of the things I get into with work, sometimes I'm around sparks at times, and don't want anything blowing up in my pants for obvious reasons. If I do carry in the waistband, this is stock luck here. Sometimes that goes around the back for a New York reload, but rarely, so it's not every day. I do use a concealment solutions holster for in the waistband, and I carry it right on my strong side, just like I would the Raven. This has been a really good holster. Surprised, it's held up really well, and I'll still use it if I have to. Typically, I wear the same clothes. I wear this whole belt every day at work, at play, doing everything, and it conceals. Nobody knows it's there if I don't let them know. What else we got? Wallets, typical wallet, little ho hum, and then I got my my Trixie here. If just in case I ever get
into a makeout fight.
Well, no, not a makeout fight.
Oh.
That's what the wife's for.
For those listening on podcasts, that's an Altoids can. We should probably clarify that.
Yes, that is an Altoids can. Thank you. What I keep it in here is I keep the DL, my permits, debit card, boo-boo stuff, some Band-Aids. And if I ever do get in that situation where it's, hey, you give me your stuff, well, here, take it. You're just going to get my sub card, maybe a gift card or two. I got all the stuff that I need. Take this. This stays with me. So it's a little James Bondish, but also with the RFID card chips that are on cards nowadays, this kind of keeps that protected as well, being that aluminum case. There's usually about a foot of paracord in there just because you can't be tactical without dragging around paracord.
That's true.
Cell phone, of course. Homage to Mr. Blue Man. Got the old pepper spray that I get made fun of more often than not for having, but it's good to have. And as I said in the show notes, my primary carry is my cane. Was banged up in a car wreck a few years ago, and that was really when I decided it was time to look into seeing what I could do to better protect myself because of my physical limitations. My left foot's kind of crippled. I still have it. Probably would be better off without it. Of course, I can say that and still have it. There's a lot of pain. It's structural issues, so it's not a matter of manning through the pain. I think we could all do that when the time came, but it's just a structural issue. It will not support me if I get a little bit of weight and torsion on that. I'm going to go down. So this stays with me. So this is my primary. A lot of guys would say it's the Glock, but this thing's already in my right hand. It's already available, and it's very inconspicuous. So it's there when I need it to walk, and hopefully if I ever need it to buy myself an extra second or a couple feet, it'll be there as well.
Okay, and something I completely spaced on doing was a little intro for everybody. So we'll do this as we go along to everybody, since we got Josh here joining us too. So real quick, maybe if you want to, Steve, just throw in a little intro at the beginning here, and so that way people can get a little better idea too of, you kind of did it there already, but if you want to just do kind of a little intro and maybe what state you're in or whatever.
Oh yeah. I am in the great state of West Virginia. And it's a great place to live. It's out in the woods. Grew up in PA, which is not so great to live in as far as being peaceful. I miss it up there. I got a lot of friends, but something about being down here in the country in the wilds where you can go out in the backyard and see a couple of deer is pretty cool. I work in Virginia, just south of Scott, a little bit, and so I go across the state line. I drive about an hour to work, and so I'm in the car a lot, and that's usually when I listen to you, Nick, is when I'm hauling tail across the hump. So as far as carrying, I've been carrying solid for about 2 years, and like I said, it was 2.5 years ago I had my accident, and before that I could always I had a lot of confidence in my physical ability, and foolishly I had no reason to doubt it. And it, like I said, it quickly went away in the car crash, and so I've still got my upper body strength. My right leg is good. My knees are shot as a result of it, and of course my left foot and ankle, they were crushed. So they're there, but they're just there in spirit, I guess. They're not really serving a lot of purpose.
We did have one question on chat of what flashlight did you have there?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's the ProTac, and that's one thing I wanted to yell everybody about. It's ProTac, and it is blinding. I think it's the 600 or 700 lumens. Yeah, it's a monster.
Same one.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. So I do have it programmed, but momentary is it's on high, and then a double clicker gets me on low, which is, I don't know, what was it, 18, 30 something. It's real low. It's low lumens, and I hate strobe. I can't stand strobe, but it's there. If I were smart enough, I'd figure out how to rewire and get that out of there. But if I were that smart, I wouldn't be talking to you.
Then of course we have a bunch of comments in the chat saying turn your cane into a shotgun.
Everybody says, is it a cane sword?
Yeah,
that kind of thing. But That'd be cool, but it's hard to explain that why you got two bad guys sticking off of your cane. But who knows? Maybe.
All right. Well, then, you know what, Aaron? That's a pretty squared away EDC. And it's actually maybe something too. We'll jump in this too about setting up your EDC, because I think that's an important part too that we haven't really touched on. But I'll throw it to you there. You got any questions, comments, concerns, kudos?
Kudos for sure. You can kind of tell by your martial arts background that you've set it up. Needing certain things, and you understand your strengths and weaknesses. I love I hate that you have to have a cane, but I love the cane. The cane. I mean, you put just a something in your hand that seemingly is so innocent. As long as you have the anything can be a tool mindset, it actually gives you some space, and it's very inconspicuous. Downside, you're a righty, right? You shoot with your right hand.
Yep.
So that's the only downside is as inconspicuous and as a good tool as it can be is choosing when it needs to go from that to the firearm. I guess is going to be I would say the hardest decision to make in that situation. Especially with being not so sure-footed with the left leg, But as far as a setup, first thing I always look for is the handheld light, and I mean, so I mean, you got your TV out there too, so I mean, I got nothing to say. Do you have any medical equipment that you keep nearby, typically like on your day-to-day ride as well?
Did you miss the Altoids can? There's a Band-Aid.
Altoids can. Band-Aid. You're right. You've got a Band-Aid. You've got it all covered. I don't know what I was thinking.
No, I do. I don't keep it on me. I probably should, but I always have a bag. I always have a bag. Right. It's always got a laptop in it. It's always got work stuff. So I've got one of these. It's clearly marked what it is. Inside's a Clear Medical, the CLEER Medical. One of their kits, and a couple other little doodads. Keep one of there. I keep one in my truck, out in the open, and I need to do a little bit better with one in my wife's truck. I was just thinking about that the other day, and make sure that there's something in there as well, just in case we're in there, and I happen to not have my bag. But I tell you, the series of shows that you've been doing, Nick, has been helpful. It is definitely eye-opening for me, because I would think that I do a lot of thinking. I think I got a lot of bases covered, but that's one area that I definitely have been aware of and not exactly sure how to approach getting stuff on me. But I definitely think it's important.
Well, and just kind of jump in here that's something that I still don't have a medical carry. Well, something that I actually emailed kind of a medical guy in the industry that does kits and stuff. Like, I have an idea of a kit, because for me it's got to be easy to carry. And again, the mini dark kit is great. But for me, that's a little out of my price range. Not that it's really bad. I mean, it's $40-$50. That's worth it. I'm not saying it's not. By any means, that's worth it. But man, if there was something around like $20-$25 that was a little bit smaller, that fit into a back pocket. So I have an idea on something like that. So I'm actually trying to maybe put something together that fits in that $20 to $25 price range.
I don't know about the price range part, but I know there's I may be wrong here, but I think it might be ITS Tactical that has one that fits in your back pocket.
They do. It's like $60.
Yeah. So,
but it's great though. It's great. Again, I've looked about it and actually talked about it on when I guest hosted the Gun and Gear Review podcast. We talked about their kit. It's a great kit. But sorry, I interrupted you there, Aaron. AA rounds.
Oh no. I was just making a comment on what you were saying. And I'm guilty of it too. I've yet to really consistently carry medical on my person. I'm like everybody else. I've got it with me. I've got it near me. But 5 feet away, when you can't move, is a mile. You know, so it's
sure.
definitely one of my weaknesses too. But I always look for that because the more and more you're around it, the more and more you see that we're going to possibly need that one day just as much as you need a firearm. So I try to make myself aware of it too.
Well, something that always hits with me is like when we had on MDFI Keith and Trek, was Keith talked about, for example, the Aurora, Colorado shooting, that if people had a med kit, what difference would that have made? You know, not obviously having an armed citizen there could have absolutely helped, but what if that person also had a medical kit, or other people had at least medical kits? What difference would that have made? Where I think 16 people died and 29 people were wounded, something in there. I don't quote me exact, but that's something that still, I have Keith's voice in the back of my head, especially in the shower, for those that got that know what I'm talking about there. But it's that's what sticks out to me. So, but I'll open up the panel here. We got Josh in, by the way, here. Thanks for coming on, Josh. I'm glad your internet's working. So, but I'll throw it to Josh. Josh and Scott here, if you guys got any questions for Steve, or questions, comments, anything along the lines of that. So, Josh, I'll throw it to you first if you got any for him.
Steve, props to you for making the best of your situation there. A lot of people that would have beat him down, but you seem like you really made the best of it. So just props to you, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. So my question is, I don't want to say I'm a big guy too, saying that you're a big guy, but I think we're of similar girth and stuff. So you can hide all that stuff even in warm weather time, and because you said nobody knows it's there unless I know it. But if I wear an outside the waistband Phantom, which I have, people are gonna know if I got a T-shirt on. So in your line of work, I think you said you were in construction or building or something like that. Is that really not an issue for you?
I actually work. I work in an office that is in the construction industry, and we. I'm going to. You'll understand why here in just a moment. We work with in universities, schools, hospitals, all these environments. So I have to make sure that anything I carry at that point is concealed.
Mm-hmm.
And so.
And by no means would you ever break any state, local, or federal laws. Of course not.
No, I would never break any state, federal, or employer rules or laws. But I do know I want to go home at night. So that being said, if things were to happen, there we go. I make sure that I dress in a way that's both professional, given my industry, and practical, given what I need to do to make sure I go home at night, and be able to hide everything. So what I do is I really don't like the term dress around your gun, but I've never worn a uniform. I've never served in the military. I've never been in law enforcement, but I do wear a uniform. I found a cut of clothes that works for me, and I've just kind of got variations of it that always work. I wear khaki pants a lot. For that, I have either a coyote holster that doesn't show if I do happen to reach. If I'm wearing jeans, I can definitely go with the black stuff that hides a lot better. Just trying to be cognizant and aware of what's around me, and at all times. And one of the best concealment shirts that I could find, and that my wife actually likes because there's no ironing, are these really cheap, inexpensive button-down Dickies work shirts. They're square at the bottom. They're a longer tail because they're made to tuck in, but I just don't tuck them in. I keep them out, and if you wear, like say some Skechers or some kind of nice, relatively nice shoe, and some khaki pants, and a button-down shirt that's clean and not wrinkled and has that look of, okay, this guy's just, this is just an outfit. If you can wear that and pull that off, nobody notices. So my cover garment takes everything down. But one thing you have to do is, and I discovered this in training, and it helped with my TDI. This got in the way when I started carrying the TDI. I would carry it actually on my I'm sorry, not my TDI, my Leatherman. I actually wore it in the front. That way I could get it with both hands. But as I was training, I realized that the cover garment was getting hung on the front flap of the Leatherman case. So that had to move. So I got that out of the way. Another thing that I discovered are these little, I don't know, darts or whatever you call them at the bottom of your shirt where the buttons go down.
Mm-hmm.
These have to be tacked. They have to be put together because when you pull them up, the muzzle, it'll find its way in there every time. And I don't mind blasting through a shirt. You know, if you're at retention, that's fine anyway. But if I try to go to extension, then now I'm fighting my garment, and all of a sudden the gun's doing this, and it's going that direction, and that's not the way I want to go. So that's really the only thing I've had to do is get this little bit squared away. So I wear a lot of black. This is blue. I get the black and khaki ones at Walmart. They're $20. Get those straight off the Dickies website, all different colors for $20, free shipping. So I wear variations of that a lot, and that's how I keep it all hidden. And you know, just a T-shirt underneath, keep the old food blister from getting tore up from the handle on the Glock.
Hey Steve, does your belt go through your loops in your pants, or is it set up like a speed belt with an inner and an outer and Velcro?
No. It actually supports through my loops on my pants.
Yep.
Okay, so you got to thread all that stuff every day. Okay.
It's not too bad. And when it was a new belt, it was kind of murderous. I don't know what Aries puts inside those things, or if it's just a matter of the composite of all those, but they're crazy stiff. But yeah, it's a lot easier to get through there now.
I think it's a super plutonium scuba weapon. I actually talked to the owner, which I can't remember his name, but when he was at F3, I was talking about it, and it's super secret, awesome sauce scuba webbing stuff. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to move us on here. I actually thought, Scott, you were going to criticize him on not having a red dot. I just figured that was going to.
Oh, that's just that's assumed. I don't need to say it. No, I'm kidding. Funny enough, I get criticized for all my red dots. So anyway.
Well, that's what I'm going to ask about. So I'm going to save you for last because you have like every red dot, like ever. So.
Yep. And for the record, I've broken every red dot, but we'll get it.
Oh wow.
That's because you're an operator, sir. Yeah.
OAF.
OAF, baby. All right.
OAMF.
Yeah, there we go. That's the new game. That's good. Yeah, OAMF. But let's move on here to Josh. So Josh, let's open up with a little intro here. Give us a little tidbit background on you, and then what you can discuss. Because the rest of it's classified. So tell us what you can, and then after that, hop right into your EDC.
Okay. I'm 26 years old, born and raised in Pennsylvania. Your neighbor to the north there. And I don't know what part of Pennsylvania you grew up in, but I see deer all the time, too much. I went to college in New York State, so I learned to appreciate my gun rights and the ability to carry. But I've been carrying as much as possible since I turned 21. I got my Utah license to carry, so I can carry in more states when I travel. In my work, I work in an office, so I can't carry there, but it can stay in the parking lot. So kind of leave it in the car, and then in the morning, and then when I get back out at the end of the day, I reholster up and go back on with my life. I carry everywhere except the post office. I think that's my only limitation in the places I travel. I go country line dancing, I go dirt bike riding, snowboarding, anything, it's on my hip.
Well, one second, isn't it kind of ironic that we can't carry in post offices? That they have developed a term of going postal, yet allow us not to conceal carry in post offices. I just feel like I had to point that out. That's
right.
If you've gotten a culture in a company that where people go postal and you don't let people carry, Sorry, Josh, I had to interrupt you there. It's just I find that just totally
It's not the
insane.
customers, it's the employees.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then what doesn't make sense even further is I'm told that you can carry a machine gun in a post office because it's an NFA item and not a firearm.
Really?
By definition.
Well,
So
somebody
yeah,
has to try that.
yeah.
It's on you, Nick. It's
Yeah.
on you, Nick. Shirtless.
Shirtless as well in slow motion.
We'll just get the Kickstarter going now for your defense fund.
Yeah.
All right, so my everyday carry, my standard go-to is a Glock 19 with the Streamlight High Lumen TLR1. I carry the +2 extension, factory extension, so I got 17 rounds. My holster is a KT Mech. It's really similar to the Raven. It's just a Kydex in the waistband holster. It's their Defender model that accommodates the light. They also made it for a threaded barrel and suppressor sights. They're really great about making it to fit whatever you want. And then they sell these deep concealment J hooks is what they call them. And they're just clips that catch the edge of your pants. So this doesn't live on a particular place on my belt, and it's easy for me to take on and off because of my work situation and just the various places I go or what I get into or changing outfits. So this works really well for me. It's comfortable. It stays where I put it. And then typically I have my two 33-round backup mags.
Wait, I was curious about that. You were serious. You were serious about that.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of people, they say they have these in their car or like a fallback position, but I don't know. I just thought, well, they're not uncomfortable, so why not carry them? And this is a KT Mech double in the waistband mag carrier with those same deep concealment J hooks. So this sits pretty deep down in my pants, and these don't really come up any higher than the gun on my other side. So it's pretty comfortable and surprises a lot of people, but I don't know. I'm probably just like a prosecuting attorney's wet dream for like the overzealous carrier, but
Awesome.
I don't know.
Now, do you carry those
So,
appendix?
and then I do have.
Yeah,
Because I would
Yeah.
so do that appendix.
that's awesome.
And then I have that Streamlight ProTac high lumen light, the same one you had, and I really like this light, and I've got it set for the high and low mode. I took off that strobe mode because that just that's an accident waiting to happen. It just disorients everybody in the room, I think.
So you don't go to dance parties, is what you're saying?
Yeah, not with this light.
How much is that light, by the way?
I saw it on Amazon before Christmas for $60, and then around Christmas it went up to $80. So it fluctuates $60 to $80.
Okay.
If you hit LA police gear, which I do, not that I want to support California, but sometimes you can get some good deals through them. They run a special on Streamlights. I think they got one going right now.
And then my I carry an LCP in a DeSantis pocket holster whenever I have to, wear like a tuxedo or something for a wedding. So whenever I just have to have a pocket gun and I'm wearing something that's tucked in and very slim fitting, but that's last resort.
Do you have 33-round mags for your LCP? That's my question.
I wish. That would be. They would be down my legs half the way, I think, with a single stack. They need some kind of drum. That's the only solution.
That's
Drum mag.
Somebody out there, Surefire, get on that. A drum mag for an LCP.
But yeah, other than a few little accessories,
Yeah.
that's all I have.
I'm feeling strangely inadequate in my Good Lord.
I wish this
Now-
was true.
Can you take that? Can you take that to the post office?
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, a destructive device is an NFA item, so
Just walk around that one hand and here's my mail.
Stamps. I want stamps.
for everybody
You know the
listening,
laws, you need to back off.
I have an inert pineapple grenade. Is what's so funny.
Somebody out in the chat, Stan Adams said, is that a Glock mag in your pocket, or are you happy to see me? That's kind of He had to. He got it.
Boom.
But you got any knives there, Josh? Anything else along those lines?
I every day carry a Swiss Army knife, just the standard fold-out tool knife.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have any kind of fighting knife that I carry every day.
Okay. Anything else with your EDC, or can I move it on to our resident expert AA Ron?
No, I wouldn't go that far.
No, that's all I have with fighting in mind.
All right. AA Ron, I'll move it on to you, sir.
Nick throwing that term around loosely, I see this week. How many reloads have you performed on a shot timer with the 33 round mags?
Oh, I do not practice a lot with the 33 round mags. I should use them in an IDPA match.
You should at least practice if you want to reload with the 33 round mag. If you're going to carry 33 round mags, wow, by the way. But if you're going to carry, that's my thing is I saw you do some matches. If you're used to running 17 mags or a Glock 19 mag or something like that, and you don't practice to do a reload with the 33 round mag, I would probably do that and see how it's a little bit different than your standard mags. And you're probably right. I mean, you want as many bullets as you can, right? I mean, no one's ever gone to a gunfight and said, came out of it clean and been like, I should have carried more ammo, or I carried too much ammo into the gunfight. But you're probably right also with the prosecutor line. And I mean, that's what I would look at it. I mean, it's going to be looked at differently. Not illegal, but it's going to be looked at differently. And it's even going to be looked at differently than if you were to carry 4, standard Glock 17 mags on your belt line. So, I mean, I would take that into consideration. If you like carrying them and you're comfortable carrying them, I would just practice with them. That's my biggest thing. Is I would practice with those 33 round mags. Because I can tell you the feel is going to be a little bit different whenever you go from, especially drawing from concealment.
Yeah, different weight and different index points for sure.
Yeah.
But the positive notes is you could dual wield mags. For some reason, if your gun went down,
could smack the crap out of somebody.
How much do those 33 round mags weigh? I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's about the same as the gun on the other side. It feels pretty balanced, so I'm not falling over while I'm walking.
Well, even when you get through how many rounds is that? 2 and what? That's like 87, whatever.
7.
80, yeah. Once you get done,
you
can double wield, like they become Kubotans at that part. You just start Steven Seagal in it from there. You know what I mean?
Now, do you carry? Now, here's another question. 2 33 round mags. Do you carry defensive ammo in both of those, or round nose?
I like he's frozen up on the screen in a Kubotan fighting fashion.
Yes. He is. That is the power of my magic. I have frozen him with the Kubotan. Yeah.
Now he's back, though. He's back.
Are you back now?
I think he's frozen, yeah.
The internets.
Yeah, the internets are not being his friend right now.
Right.
I want to know the answer to that question, though. I really do.
Well, if for me, if you're going to carry that many rounds, go for 100.
Yeah.
Like, to me, I'm just like, okay, you've broken like for me, it's like, okay, the 50 round barrier, that's good to be at. I'm carrying 50 rounds. Now it's like I got to be honest, I'm feeling a little bit bad about what I'm carrying because I want to hit that 100 rounds now. Josh, are you back?
Yeah, sorry, I got booted by my something internet thing. I don't know.
And it's only one more 33 rounder. Stop slacking.
Yeah.
I need to hit this thing.
Aaron had a question for you, Josh.
Yeah. You've got 2 33 round mags. My question was, do you carry defensive ammo in those magazines, or do you carry? Okay then.
Yeah. No, I'm carrying a full load of federal HSTs.
And how often have you been carrying those, and how often have you decided to rotate those rounds out?
I rotate the rounds out of my primary mag, and I haven't rotated the ones out of this yet, and they're probably not even a year old. So I'm going to shoot for once a year to go through everything.
All right, another question that I should have asked. Steve, have you cycled what you're carrying through that gun in a fast manner in the past?
Yeah, sometimes it's by accident. You get to the range, you just
Yeah, I've been there.
do a lead puke up the range.
By the way, we actually had somebody. I forgot to ask that too. Somebody in chat was curious, Steve, about what ammo you carried.
The critical defense Hornady.
Okay.
I forgot to mention I do keep a medical kit in all my vehicles. I don't carry anything on my body. I intend to, not in the quantity of 33. I'm not going to carry like a full SWAT level blowout kit.
Why not? You've got 2 33-round magazines.
With the amount of death that you can deal, you owe it to society to carry a full med kit.
Letter it inside the waistband.
Yeah.
And an IED too. Just
drive an ambulance.
Stop being lazy.
I want to get at least a tourniquet for in my pocket. That seems to be the thing that can really make a big difference in a critical moment. But all my vehicles, I have a kit that has a cat tourniquet and a Halo chest seal, combat gauze, and an Israeli bandage and trauma shears. So that's in all my vehicles. And once I've had to pull that out at a car accident where I was the first on the scene. Luckily, I didn't have to use anything. And then I've been in another car accident where I didn't need it, but I had it. And I've been in a car accident where I was driving a friend's car and I didn't have it, and I wish I had it. So that's why I know I need to have it on my body, because I'm not always going to have my vehicle or my home nearby to fall back to where I have my med kit staged.
Well, that's something actually I should really mention here is, so on the the first EDC episode that we did, we had on Jeff Bloom with Arm Dynamics, talked a lot of medical on there. We had the panelist named Jared was on the show, and he actually on a show before I mentioned the what was it, Essentials. It's their patrolman's kit. I mentioned on the show earlier before, I put a link in the show notes, Rescue Essentials. They have a $15 patrol officer's kit. He went and bought that, and we did that first episode of EDC, and then would have been last weekend. He was actually behind a drunk driver calling into the cops, following the guy, and the dude ended up wrecking his car, and he actually had to use it. Not life-threatening, but he actually had to use it. And then, so yeah, to echo you right there, Josh, is you never know. And
that was a really good episode. I really enjoyed listening to that. It was a refresher for me, because I went and took one of my first training classes. It was called Combat Medicine for Shooters. It was like a local Pittsburgh company that was offering that, and it was great. They had a big chunk of cow or something, and they went out and shot it, and then you got to pack the wounds. And they had us practice somebody going down and applying tourniquets, and we were just getting reps on the tourniquets over and over again. So classes like that, it's great stuff. And I'm glad I did that before I went and pursued my shooting enthusiasm with everything else. So
now, Ron, you've taken some medical classes, right?
I've taken some basic stuff, and we worked with.
I said expert. Remember, expert.
Yeah. I've taken all the classes. I've done it all. I've been everywhere. No, we actually I trained some with a guy that we had actually on staff for a while. That was a EMT instructor, if I'm not mistaken. And was able to train with him and learn some of that. Then I've actually hosted News River Tactical here in North Carolina for their basic trauma course. So I mean, I love getting any kind of medical training that I can, because I know that I'm lacking in that area. And every time I take a class or from around some guys and doing some training in medical, I realize very quickly how ill-equipped I am, for that other side of that gunfight. And it's a very eye-opening experience each time.
Now, doesn't Carolina Tactical Outfitters offer some medical training near you? I'm joking. Nobody go look them up. I'm joking.
Oh, I've already looked them up before. I need to get the inside story on that.
Wow.
Oh, just listen to AC/DC. You'll be good to go.
Oh God.
Witch
I almost
doctor.
made it through the first half of this show without that.
Sorry. All right.
Wow.
I'm gonna open it up here. Let's go. We'll go Steve here, and then we'll go Scott to any questions, comments for Josh there. So Steve, I'll have you go first.
The only thing I got is maybe get some custom base plates to put on those 30 round. That way you've got the you can put some paracord in there. You can nunchuck those bad boys, and then work on your reloads that way.
Yeah, and it's a flail weapon as a fallback.
That is awesome. Scott, anything for you? Oh, sorry, Steve. Go ahead.
You said you're using the DeSantis. Is that a pocket carry for your backup gun?
Yeah.
Or is that in the waistband?
No, it's a pocket carry holster that's got a sticky texture on the outside and smooth on the inside. So, like 50% of the time, it does what it's supposed to, and it doesn't come out whenever you draw.
Okay. Now, I was curious because I've never used a pocket gun. Do you actually train with that, or is that just something you use as a backup?
I
mean, you actually work on drawing that thing and getting out of your getting it out of your pants and in the fight.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. Every other month, I'll be at the range and I'll have this, and I'll do a couple reps with it just to stay fresh. But this gun is just horrible to shoot, and I do not do well with it. I'm not to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty good with my Glock. But with this long trigger pull and the small gun that's snappy, it's just miserable to shoot. So I just make sure I'm competent with it and stay up on it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd be curious. Has anybody on the panel had any have they shot the LCPS or LCRS, or is it LCRS?
No.
What's the new striker fired Ruger gun? LC9S. There we LC9S. Has anybody had any trigger time behind the striker fired version of that?
Nope.
No.
Because the LC9, the trigger is terrible.
Yes.
Atrocious.
Yes.
I was curious there, but okay. Nobody has. So Scott, I'll throw it to you there. You got any comments, questions for Josh there?
Again, I'm just feeling inadequate with all the backup rounds there. All I'm going to say is basically what Aaron said is that. So I've been fascinated with the fast drill, and for those people that know what it is, it's 7 yards, 2 rounds to the head, slide lock reload, four to the chest. And the one thing to quote Matt Jacquis, cover garments are a bitch, right? And they're a bitch with a 17 magazine, with a 33 round magazine, clearing, indexing, putting it in. That's beyond my pay grade. So I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm impressed, but I would just say just practice with it even more. And if you get proficient at that, that's awesome. It's awesome,
Yeah, and I'm still fortunate that my shoulders are the widest part of my body, so I can steal things pretty easily. One day I'll have to change things, but
yeah, I'm not concerned with stealing. I'm just concerned with the clearing and indexing and and getting it in there.
Oh yeah, coming all the way out. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That would be my only concern, and that's probably what I would just train all day long on. But then again, you have impact weapons as backups if that doesn't work for you. So, right?
Yeah.
Literally the Michelangelo of Ninja Turtles right here with those.
That's awesome.
I mean, this is like carrying spare money too. I mean, I can barter these. I got so much ammo here.
Oh, dude, it's just so impressive. People just probably throw money at you.
We did have one question out the chat here. It disappeared off the thing, but what bullet grains were you carrying, Steve and Josh? They're curious about that.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to be lying to you. I think they're 145s.
Okay, 147.
There you go. Whatever the critical defense stuff is, it's stock.
Okay.
147 is probably.
Well, there's critical defense and there's critical duty. Critical duty is the 147. I think critical defense is a little bit lighter.
Yeah. I'm using the lighter.
Okay.
That's 135. Critical duty, 135 grain, because that's what I carry.
124 is for me.
Okay. Well, let's move up to the last man of the hour here. And we're amazingly filling time here, which is fantastic. So we have Scott, the dude that has a red dot on every gun ever that he owns, and every kind of red dot.
Yeah.
So Scott, do a little intro and then run us through your EDC.
All right. So my name is Scott. I don't care if anybody knows my last name. It's Jedlinski. Just a little bit part of that. I'm an Air Force kid, so that's where you get the Korean eyes and the Polish last name. You can't tell, but I'm also 6'3" and 245 pounds. So, I'm just
Petite.
What's that?
Petite.
Yeah.
You're an adult version of William Petty.
I am. Oh, we actually were talking about that. Hey, don't talk about my half-breed brother. Anyway, how I basically got into shooting is, I've been a martial artist my whole life. Being half Korean, if you don't take Taekwondo, you get disowned. The past 6 years, I've been training in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu here locally, and it's impossible in the Metro DC area to train martial arts and not meet, federal ninjas for the most part. And my really good friend Al, I won't say his last name, he is State Department LEO, and so in Jiu-Jitsu, if you train 3-4 times a week, you might get your black belt in 10 years, right? The next stage is blue belt. Yeah, you probably get about a year and a half, maybe 2 years. Well, here you got this 6'5", 280-pound killer who is like a 3-year white belt, right? Because he kept on getting shipped to Shitbakistan. Oh, sorry.
Don't worry.
Okay.
It's okay because everybody out in the chat is going to go timestamp.
Right. Sorry. Anyway, so I started giving him, some private lessons because it was ridiculous, and he kind of repaid me with some shooting lessons, and taught me how to shoot like him. And from there, it's a passion. I research everything, and I kind of just, go all in and stuff. I'm lucky because there's an indoor range, Silver Eagle, about 5 minutes away from me. I probably throw down 300 to 500 rounds a week. Because I dig it, I view it like another martial art, and that was probably about 3 years ago where I started getting a little serious about it. 2 years ago where I got really, really into it. Anywho, so I guess I'll just hop into my EDC.
Go for it.
All right. So what I lack in rounds, I make up for it with technology. So my warm weather carry is my Glock 19. This is, I don't know if you guys can see it, but this is a unicorn. It's a Glock 19 USA built, and on the top is can't see that either, is a Sage Dynamics logo, because this used to be Ron Cowan's gun that I bought off of him. It's got a Surefire X300U and an RMO6 on it. You guys probably can't see, but... And Mr. Bromley, you probably get pissed off at that, but there is a homemade agency
accelerator
pad on there that I did. Actually turned out pretty good.
It
works. It works. So I got 2 holsters I use when I carry my light, which I always do. I carry Appendix, and I use the Armadillo Xfer. And I gotta love this one because I got a ton of handguns, and whatever one I want to carry, this works as long as there's a Surefire on it. And surprisingly, it's pretty comfortable. At a recent Victory First Magic Keys class, he always has contests at the end, and if you win it, you get a prize. The last one with his Fundamentals of Everyday Carry, I won the Eidolon. And I love this thing. It doesn't have a light, but I hear they're coming out with a version soon that will do light. But this thing is fast.
I think the light thing was supposed to be hush hush, but it's okay.
It's me dreaming.
Hey, we're breaking news here on Practically Tactical because that's how we roll.
It's the logical next step. At least that's what I told the guy when they did the launch at F3, right? This thing's awesome, so like it if it just had a light. There's that.
I will agree with you. I have mine. I've actually taken it back apart because I'm going to do a video on it. But
yeah,
it tucks that claw. Oh my! I can carry my Glock 17 full size like nobody's business.
Right. Yeah.
But it doesn't have a light. That's the big knock on it.
That's the thing. So, but we'll get used to it. Actually, it made me start working single-handed stuff a lot more. Which at a local steel shoot that I do, the last competition was all, single-handed stuff, strong and support, and I did a lot better because I was training with that way. Anyway, winter carry for I do outside the waistband, Raven concealment, Phantom, flashlights. I don't like big flashlights for me. I just don't know why. But so I got what is this thing? A Phoenix PO22 something else. It's 500 lumens. Like it, momentary on, and then you can adjust for everything else off to the side as well. Keychain, got another one. This one's some weird gun show swap meet power tech thing. It's the only one I could find that I like that actually fit onto my keychain. So that's with me all the time. Knives. I've been carrying this more and more. It's the multitasker Emerson collaboration there, where it's the EDC. It's got the way with the regular knife there. It's got what's it got? It's got the Phillips thing, blah blah blah. So your regular normal EDC, but more importantly, it's got the cool Emerson skull on the clip, and that's all that really matters.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Yeah, so I do that. I switch between that. I've got a Emerson karambit that I wear. It's a bit bulky. You can't put anything else in your pocket if you wanted to, but I like it because it makes me feel like a ninja. And then I've got this Kershaw. I can't remember what it is, but the reason why I love this knife is because I can beat it to crap and I don't care about it. So that's pretty much the EDC. I'm in the mortgage industry, but I'm lucky because 90% of the time I'm working out of my home office, so it doesn't matter what other people want. I can carry my gun when I want to, and I always do inside the house. But if I have to go someplace, like if I'm going to a financial institution where I can't carry at all, but I can, kind of mask it off body or something like that, I've got my Vertex commuter bag, and with the let's see if I can do this if it's not on me, where you whip it around, it opens up, bang, and you can pull right from there. I love this thing. It's super low vis, it's like this, but if I want to be tactical and because I'm cool, then I can, well, anyway, I can pull out the patches, and be cool like that. If I don't, I can just cover that up, be super low vis. The only other thing is the Raven concealment with the soft loops. Doesn't matter if I carry my 19 or my 17. It's got a Glock 17 round mag in there, and I carry the Hornady Critical Duty, the 134 grain.
Okay. What red dot did you have on there?
Oh, on here it's a RMR.
Okay.
RM06. This is the manually adjustable battery powered one. You want me to bring them all out?
You have them all.
You got all of them. I want to see them.
You want to see all of them? All right. So this one, this was inspired by Steve Fisher's Nighthawks. I can't wait nor afford a Nighthawk, but this is a Caspian double stack 9mm Caspian. It has an RM. What is this one? RM10, whatever the dual illuminated one is on it. It's got a Surefire, the 300U on it. This was suppressor right side. This was milled by Mark Housel at L&M Precision. He's about an hour away from you. He used to be in Phoenix. Now he's in Lakeview. I don't know if you know where that is, Aaron. Awesome work, incredible turnaround time. He turned this around for me. The cut, the Cerakote, the front serrations, and everything in like 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, so he did that. He is, you guys probably know him, so Unity Tactical, that does the mounts, right? So either you get the slide from Unity Tactical, or you get it from Robar, or you get it from Mark Housel. So he's awesome. So the Glock 22, which has been converted to, with the Storm Lake barrel, to a 9mm. That is at Blackbeard Tactical, getting another pirated accelerated pad put on it. Anyway, but that's got the Unity Tactical with an Aimpoint H1 on it. I carry that in the winter, and if you've never shot a pistol with an H1 on it, it's awesome.
That's what I wanted to see. That's
yeah,
the one
I
really wanted to see.
I'll see if you think. But that is my Han Solo blaster. My bastard child is my Kimber 1911 with a J point on it that everybody hates. But like I was telling you before the show, this thing eats everything, and I make it a point only to shoot toolless steel through this thing because I want to break it. And after 4,000 rounds, it has not failed me once.
Did you have to lap the slide at all on that?
What's that?
Did you lap the slide at all on that?
No.
Okay.
Nope. The only thing that's been done to that gun is the cut for the J point. And then finally, the last creation is the Para. I like guns that people kind of make fun of, right? Except for my carry guns; those are all Glocks. Anyway, so this is a Para Tactical. It's a double stack 45. Again, milled by Mark Housel and Cerakoted by Mark Housel. It's got a Delta Point loophole on this. I never carry 45 on me every day, but I enjoy it because it's kind of like wearing a weighted vest when you're sprinting. Right? After you get done with that, regular running seems like nothing. You shoot this, and then 9mm feels like 22. So that's that. As far as that. So those are all the red dots. Do I have anything else with a red dot on it? My rifles, but that's about it. So.
Oh, you weren't kidding.
Oh yeah,
that's it. By the way, so I have to throw it out here. Somehow we have pissed somebody off on the internet.
Yeah.
Like, we had a group of people come in and thumb down the video. We have like 9 thumbs down during the recording of this. Like somehow, like I don't know whose feelings we hurt, but apparently
it's Brandon. He's pissed because Aaron's on.
That's it. That is it. Yeah, we had a group of people come through, and thumb down the video. That is hilarious.
Let's just blame it on racism. How about that?
There we go. We can claim there. So yeah, we did Scott's EDC plus all the red dots. All the red dots. Hashtag
all the red dots.
Hashtag all the red dots.
All red dots.
So Aaron, Ron, I'll throw it over to you, buddy.
I got lost in all of that.
Sorry.
All the red dots. So you typically carry a 19, you said?
Yeah, in the warm weather months, it's the 19. In the winter, it's generally we'll call it a G17 because it's got a 9mm barrel in it. Yeah.
Okay, I got you. Mostly, and you always carry an appendix in the armadillo rig.
Yep. Either that, or like I'm saying, I'm experimenting with the Eidolon. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got nothing. I mean, you've got all the red dots, you've got all the 9mm and the 45. Spare magazine, at least 2 knives. So, I mean, what else is there other than, like everybody else has been talking about, medical somewhere or.
So the medical stuff I'll do like everyone else. It's pretty much in the car, right?
Yeah.
So the car med kit I have is surprisingly so. I won't tell you kind of car I drive because it's very not tactical. But the one that came with it was actually pretty good. I do have a certification in basic first aid and CPR. So I've got the coagulating bandages in there, and the face shields in case somebody needs CPR and stuff like that. I missed. Well, I didn't miss. It was a choice. So Dark Angel came and did their seminar at F3 this past March, but I decided to go to a Victory First class instead. That's horrible.
That's okay.
Well, we like to shoot. We don't really care about the medical stuff until it's time for the medical stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So,
And it's super important. They're coming back in November, so I've already signed up for that, and I'm definitely going to do that. But it's like I don't think I have enough skills to even know what to do with that Dark Angel medical kit. So it's like, oh my God, somebody's bleeding, and just like throw it at somebody. Here, use this.
It's really good. You'll like it. You need it.
You look like what you're doing. Here you go. But it is.
Here's a YouTube video.
Yeah. It's super, super, super important. But I got to tell you that the medical thing it's beyond my headlights right now. The whole tourniquet thing and everything. I see that. I know I think I understand the importance of it. It's just I don't get it right now. And until I take a class, I'm not.
Yeah.
So.
If you go carry anything, some quick clot and a tourniquet will be the two things that will be first.
Yeah.
They're pretty straightforward, and one of the first two things that you're probably going to use in a medical situation anyway. You're going to put the pressure on the wound with something that's going to stop the bleeding, and you go put something around it to cut all the bleeding off.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm right there with everybody else. Most of my stuff stays, in the vehicle. And until I make a conscious effort to bring it out and actually carry it with me. And then it's only an afterthought, at that. But that's always one thing. Another thing I was going to say was you've got one of the smaller lights that you say you carry. Do you do a lot of, you say you shoot a lot one-handed. Have you done a lot of any low light training at all?
I have not. I keep on getting, obviously I want to do Steve Fisher and William Petty's low light. I think, actually what I am going to do is, so Matt Jackies and Scott Wilson from Surefire, they're going to do like a one-day low light, or one-night low light, I guess I should say. I think it's going to be a pistol workshop during the day and then low light at night. I'm definitely going to do that. My practice with low light is, at a one-way indoor range, having it up from the one-handed draw from appendix, and kind of going from there, and clearing my basement.
Yeah. The only thing I would say about it, and it's just from experience, would be because I hate carrying bulky items in my pocket too, so I don't like a large light. But I tend to carry a large. Well, I wouldn't say a large light, but I carry the O light. What is it? The T20. A little bit longer, and even I took a low light class from some guys here local, and I got one of the power tacks too, small one, 300 aluminum, that fits in your pocket great. And I found after you go out there and you start shooting different styles, you go from a Harry's to a Neck Index or something like that. Sometimes having a smaller light makes it more difficult while doing something else to manipulate properly. So I went from the power tack to this O light. The only downside about this particular light is it doesn't have a momentary, and I hate that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to break down and buy a Surefire eventually, I guess. The majority of to be able to get some practical application, I ended up shooting with one of the larger O lights. I don't know if anybody's seen the one with the bevel on it on the end. The size up from this, so it fit my hand better. So if I had a suggestion to anybody that's carrying a smaller light, would be, if you want to do some dry fire stuff, forget about the actual technique about using the flashlight, but do some reloads or something like that with your flashlight in your hand. It's odd that sometimes a little bit larger light that fits your hand better is easier to manipulate while doing some other stuff. Kind of didn't get lost. in my opinion. But that'd be it. I mean, and if you practice with a smaller light and can use the light well, I wouldn't say anything about it at all, because it does. You're gonna use what you're comfortable carrying, you know. But that was one thing that I learned about my setup from using it in a class all night long in the rain and it was cold. I was like, wow, I like this light. And the instructor was like, yeah, that light's kind of small. I was like, well, this is what I carry. I wanted to see how I would do with what I carry, and it was less than ideal while I was training. So I was like, man, if it's less than ideal right now, you know, how's it going to be if I actually have to use it? You know, and that's one thing that we don't do, I think, overall, is we go on the range, and I'm guilty of it just as much as everybody else is. Like, everybody here carries a handheld light, which is, if you go carry EDC, that's probably the first thing you should carry is a handheld light. But how often do we practice with it, you know? So that would be the only thing. Other than that, what MOA do you like on your red dots? Because you've got all of them, and I want to know, because I've got one.
Yeah.
So I want to know from you, what MOA do you like best and why?
325.
Okay.
Just because it is so you got the bigger ones, you know, you got 8, right? I like the one on the Caspian, I think is an 8, and it's super awesome to acquire, but precision at distance, you know, it's, well, I just might as well have iron sights with that.
Right.
325 with the RMO6 is super adjustable. The H1, I think, is a 2 MOA, and that thing is super precise. But when you can crank that thing to 11, and it only gets a little bit bigger, right? Where on the RMO6, if you crank it all the way down, it's almost, it looks like a 2 MOA dot, and if you crank it all the way up right before it starts to bloom a little bit too much, it's like a 7, 8 MOA dot. So, I mean, of all of them, for field of view, the H1 is just awesome, right? For adjustability, taking slow shots at distance or whatnot, the RMO6 is, in my opinion, what I like the most.
Awesome.
All right.
That's kind of what I was wanting to know. I'll just, from somebody that has shot them, that's what I wanted to know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, all the red dots.
All the red dots.
All the red
All
dots.
the red dots.
But here's what I'm doing since we actually, wow, almost an hour and a half. Been doing pretty good here, or an hour and more. But what I want to do is, for anybody out there watching out in the YouTube world, if you got any questions here, throw it in the YouTube chat. You guys have been carrying an awesome discussion out there, so I really appreciate you guys tuning in and watching it again. I don't know whose feelings we hurt tonight. I don't know.
Are we still getting thumbs down?
No, we've gotten way more thumbs up, but I don't know.
It's that mother's group you made, Matt, the other week.
Oh yeah, maybe they stopped by. Which, by the way, that woman put out the creepiest video you will ever see on her. For everybody out there that's listening on podcast or YouTube, if you're not liking our Facebook page, you need to go to facebook.com/practically-tactical, because I share a lot of stuff on there. Yeah, that whole Ike thing, and then the Mothers Demand Action Kickstarter, who, by the way, like, did a terrible like photo editing job of removing Mom's Demand Action from her shirt, like literally edit it in Microsoft Paint. Put out the creepiest video in the world about raising $25,000 for, I don't know, to benefit something, and she wears her Marine hat. I'm using air quotes in the video. I mean, let's be honest. That's gonna be $25,000 that ain't nobody gonna get. But
it's going so she can buy Adobe Photoshop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then I won't even mention my guess for the other $24,000.
Yeah.
But let's see here. We do have a couple, actually some questions coming in chat, so we'll let those build up a little bit here. So again, if you guys out there on YouTube, we'll throw in those questions. But I'll open up the panel here. If you guys got any questions for AA Ron, or any questions for each other, I'll throw it open to you guys here. You got any?
Yeah, Scott, would you mind? I mean, you've got a bunch of them laying around. I'd love to get a red dot on the cane, if we can.
Oh yeah. I'm surprised you don't have a laser on it, buddy.
I was thinking we send it out to ATEI and get some serrations and get a red dot.
What you need to do is you need to take a whole bunch of 33-round Glock magazines, put those together,
There you go.
We'll mill that.
I'll work
We'll
on
mill
some
that
of those.
sucker with a red dot, serrations stipple it from sweaty, muddy, and bloody, and you will be good.
Never
to
miss the Magwell.
Yeah,
right on the end of that's right. So you don't want to slip off the end of the cane there. So
that is perfect.
I do have a couple of serious questions that I wanted to ask everybody about, and then I had one particular for you, Aaron. I try to work everything because I am three-limbed essentially, and I have a little girl. She's 5 tomorrow, so if I need to have an armful of her and need to work on my one-handed manipulations, I need to make sure that that's simple. So as far as if I have to do a magazine extraction one-handed and say the thing's stuck, now I know I can put those sexy little grooves in there, but to me those are pointless if I only have one hand, because that pinky's just not going to do it. So a couple of thoughts I had was chopping the Glock a little bit, and that way the lip, I'd have to be able to get that lip that's on the magazine there, right there, and hook it onto my belt or my holster or something, either left-handed or right-handed, and I could possibly rip that out. But I've seen these really cool base plates, and every time I do a search for a base plate extension Glock on the Googles, I always get the +2s and the competition magazines. Have you guys seen any of those that have the little hook on the front side of that they actually stick out and protrude from the magazine well, from the handle, maybe a little bit, that facilitate that?
Vickers?
No, I'm asking Keith right now.
Okay.
Yeah, Keith and Trey question. They work really well.
You're only supposed to message him while in the shower.
Can you excuse me for a moment?
Gladly.
Gotta go get in the shower.
Yeah,
That's
honestly,
actually-
I mean, you'd be surprised, what you could actually get with the standard base plate. On your holster or something like that. And honestly, don't ever discount actually reholstering the gun and actually getting a grip on it and pulling it out if you have to, in a pinch. People think about it as a place to hold their gun until they need it, but they don't think about it during a one-handed reload too. Putting it back in your holster allows you mobility with what little you may have. If you go to maybe a knee grab, knee pinch or something like that, you're static at that point, which you don't want to be during a gunfight. So I mean, if you absolutely have to grip and rip that magazine out, you just don't think about reholstering the firearm in that situation. I cannot think to save my life.
And I didn't know if maybe someone in the chats would know too. I just can't find it.
Yeah. Hopefully he's still awake, and if not, I'll blame Nick. But yeah, they push those and it's perfect. It's set up perfect to be able to rip out with your a pocket or something like that, anything to grab hold of.
Okay. And the second question I had, and I'll just shut up, was with regards to the TDI, and I don't know if 50 Stitches is in the chats or not tonight. Kind of been back and forth with him a little bit about this the TDI, and this is the smaller one. This thing has I really like it because you can if it's an up close sticky stabby thing, and if someone's on you, this is when it comes out, and this is the perfect position for a sticky stabby situation. One of the downfalls is it's real slick. So anytime you get hydraulic fluid out on you, this is going to be even worse and more difficult to hold on to. So that's the first thing I can see is the design flaw with this sheath. What are you using, Aaron, as far as the sheath? Are you using the stock TDI sheath, or did you have something made?
I just had recently. I was running a stock one until recently. I could not do it anymore. Kind of where you are now. I couldn't handle it. And my buddy over at M3 Tactical Kydex here in North Carolina, he makes them. They're fairly cheap. Does a good job with them. And I had him make me one. Runs a lot better. Runs a lot tighter. Doesn't wiggle quite as much on the belt line.
Okay.
And he does a good work.
Hey,
So and he's active duty military, so I like supporting vets. So
Absolutely.
and Keith just texted me back, and their Gap Enterprises is the
Gap.
he was not supposed to text you back because I text him in the shower and I am more important. But he did not get my message until too late.
And here comes some more thumbs downs.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's probably Keith making a bunch of new accounts. Just a thumbs down the
Yeah.
video. Or him and Brandon. It very well could be. I should have had. I'm surprised Brandon's not here. Because, you know.
Honestly, I'm so surprised he's not trolling me right
I
now.
know. But sorry, Steve, I interrupted your stuff there with my
No,
naked
that's
shower
it.
texting rant. So.
Yeah, if you want the thumbs up, Nick, you need to post up that picture you were texting around before the show started.
Yeah.
But that's really all I had. Was a question about this and the Glock magazine, so I appreciate it, Aaron.
Yeah, not a problem.
Yeah. Josh or Scott, you guys got any questions or anything?
Hey, Scott.
Yeah.
I'm not an RMR guy or a red dot on a pistol guy. I spent all my RMR money on some other things, and I can't think of what they are right now.
Yeah.
It's just so quiet here that I can't remember what it is. But
Yeah.
no, I'm a silencer guy. But a friend of two of my good buddies, they carry their everyday carry with an RMR, and it was kind of funny. We were at the range, and the one guy he was shooting, and his Glock just stopped firing, just like light strikes. And here, one of the screws from the RMR was too deep into the slide, and it was rubbing on something, and it caused it to bind up. So obviously, you shoot your gun a lot, and it sounds like you're wearing it out. But just like a caution in general, I'm always kind of iffy about those kind of mods to carry guns unless you really practice with it and own it and know it's going to work. But
Yep. So, yeah, I've never heard of that happening. I mean, I guess I don't know what the word I'm.
it was the right screw. Yeah, it was going into a channel where there was. It wasn't the striker channel. Whatever the right screw goes into, it can protrude into a channel there. I think it was the wrong screw.
The RMRs come. Well, I just bought the 06, and it comes with a long screw and a shorter screw. The longer screw supposedly goes on the left, shorter screw goes on the right, because the on the left side, that's where your I mean, on the right side, that's the channel with the extractor rod goes into, and it can bind that up.
Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly what it was, and that was his everyday carry gun, and it worked for a few rounds, and then it quit working. So lucky him, I guess.
That's why you tested at the range for a couple.
Exactly.
5,000 rounds before it works. What I would tell you with cuts and having cut up a whole bunch of guns and stuff is just buy once, cry once. Make sure you're getting it from a vetted, legitimate person that you have researched. Your local gunsmith. With all due respect to local guys, anyone who says, "Hey, yeah, I'll give it a whirl," nah. No.
Walk out the door right then.
Yeah, walk out the door. You're not an experiment. You know what I mean? Because then he'll have some G2 ammo right next to you that he wants to sell too. But a couple of things. If someone's really worried about that, like for example the one I showed before that Aaron got done by Zev, has screw channels that stick up from the frame. I don't know how they did it. So a lot of them have a flat with screw holes in it, and you actually screw into the frame. This one has two cylinder channels where the screws go in, that is above the flat part of the frame. So that's really stable. The Unity Tactical stuff, it screws in from the side, and you screw into the base, right? When you get work done by Mark Housel, he puts in a plate. Then that screws into the plate, and your RMR screws in, or their plate screws into the slide, and then your RMR screws into the plate. So there's no chance of that. And then plenty of guys out there, ATEI. There's Mod 1 out of Kentucky. I've done a ton of research. All those guys' work is phenomenal. But again, just vet your local guy, and if it's cheap, it's going to cost you more money in the long run, right? So, but I've never had gun malfunction issues. I've had red dot malfunction issues. We can talk about that if you guys want, but.
Well, I want to jump into a couple questions here, then maybe we'll come back to that. So, we had one question from our buddy Bravo One Rescue. For Steve, can you temple index the cane safely? You're muted, buddy, or something.
You wish you, yeah, that saves you a timestamp.
There it is.
I have been training for this specifically for the show. I figured it would be a request.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can do it offhand as well.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm practicing.
Look out for the dead birds. Here come the dead birds.
Shoulder holster this thing and pick up
Oh.
Hate to brag, but sometimes you just can't help it.
Yeah. For the magazine again, Keith responded to me before Aaron. I just want to make sure that was clear.
I did not hear that.
Yeah.
I'm the one that got it out on the airwaves first, so that's all that matters.
By the way, I'm sending Mr. Nolatak an invite right now. But we had a lot of people for the mag question you had there, Steve. A lot of people jumped on the Vickers. The Vickers is great. However, that is for like side ripping if you don't cut a mag well cut, not the actual hook like you're talking about. So the Gap Rise has a hook to where you could take it and just like take it. You know, for example, if my hand, let's say this is a hard area or belt, where you can take it and just rip it out. So that's something I actually not thought of, and I kind of really like that. So I'm surprised Keith has never talked. Keith, you failed. You didn't talk about that when you're on the show. You failed. I'm not texting you for the rest of today while I'm in the shower. Let's see here.
Don't lie. Don't lie to him.
Okay, I'm going to text him when I take a shower.
There it is.
We actually had a comment from my good buddy Jesse at 4C Tactical, who's on the show next week. His was, the dude who carries two 33 rounders is straight gangster.
Yeah.
Then of course
I think Josh needs to carry one of those suppressed pistols.
Yeah.
I need the Cry gun clip holster. I don't have it yet. I need to get one of those so I can.
Dude, at that point you just lift your shirt and the bad guy runs.
Yeah.
You
runs to figure out what's happening.
There's only one way to be more gangster, and that would be to titanium nitrate those bad boys.
Oh. There you go.
Salient stamp those bad things.
Yep.
I'll show my home defense gun.
Oh, good.
Oh, good Lord.
Can't you carry that into the post office?
No, this is a semi-auto. This
Oh.
is just a long gun, so boring. I know, right?
Jeez.
Josh, you are full of surprises, dude. Holy cow. For those that don't know, what is that? We got to explain to listeners on what podcast on the podcast about what you have in your hand right now.
That's everyday carry,
This is
folks.
a semi-auto. Yeah, this is a Browning 1919, an Israeli 308 build that I got. I have a Jeep, an old Army Jeep, and I wanted a gun to mount on the pedestals.
Of course, because that's what people do.
That's what
that's priorities.
That's right. It's empty, that boy. Oh man.
But it's got a crank trigger, so I'd mount a rod on there, and you can crank it as fast as you want, and that's not a machine gun in the eyes of the ATF. So it's still pretty fun.
No red dot though.
No, but even better, I have.
Do you have a silencer for it? Do you have a silencer for it?
No, hold on.
Yeah, it's a muffler for the Jeep.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Even better, I have anti-aircraft sights. So you got your tiny peep sight in the rear, and this bolts on to the left side of the gun, so I can take care of those, I don't know, drones or something. I don't know.
And Nick, I'm pretty sure I know where all the thumbs down are coming from. Yeah. The NSA is really interested.
It's like an episode of Sons of Guns, man.
Yeah.
Never been done before.
With a little less family rape.
Can you mount this
Very
to a
little
yeah,
until you do the shower texting.
can you mount that to a sidecar motorcycle with an underage girl in there?
And it all has to spin.
Oh my god. This
Roman
is
candles.
probably the time we should end the show. But we're not that we're not that smart here on the show. So do we have any last questions here for Aaron or anybody out in the chat there? We got any last questions? Anybody curious about how to shoot down a plane? Because we got that covered as well.
You gotta lead them.
Oh.
Hey, Aaron, I got a question. So do you mainly run your classes on the weekends?
Yeah.
Okay. So that works. So work during the week. When I'm down in Charlotte, I'll try and make it a long work week and charge the company for it. So
There you go.
there you go. Awesome.
Yeah, everybody in chat right now, Josh, thinks you're just like insane. Insanely awesome. Insanely awesome.
I'm blushing.
Yeah. All right, but guys, we'll move to wrap this up because this has been an insanely fun chat. I got to be honest, this has been an awesome show. So, but again, I got to give kudos to everybody who came on the show here, talked about their EDC, how much insane it might be. Can you shoot down an airplane with your EDC? No? Well, then you're not on Josh's level.
That's right.
We now have everything to strive to on this show. So,
Index that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, can you temple index that, Josh? But no, in all seriousness, though, we got Josh, we got Steve, we got Scott. Again, thank you guys for coming on. There we go, almost.
Yeah.
That hurt.
It's indexing you.
In Russia, gun indexes you.
Oh, we do have one late entry question here for Aaron. We have from I'm assuming it's Keith from MDFI of why does Aaron B. Rumbly always smell so good?
Fight soap. Hands down.
Fight
Fight
soap.
soap.
That's it right there. But in all seriousness, thank these three dudes for coming on, talking about the EC again. I really actually love this series, and we're definitely doing this again and very soon here. But again, I really want to thank these guys for coming on. So what I'm going to do is let's just go down the line here, Josh, and then Scott, and then Steve. I'll give you guys a couple minutes here. If there's anything you want to plug or talk about, whatever, go ahead and do it. So Josh, go first here, then Scott, jump in.
I had a good time on the show. I'll come back anytime you want to discuss the various options for ground mount, belt-fed weapons for home defense. I'm into all aspects of shooting, as you can tell. So, and if you want to see YouTube videos of me shooting in multi-gun matches and shooting post-sample machine guns, trying out different stuff on YouTube, it's Josh's the number one of a kind XJ on YouTube. Josh's one of a kind XJ, and then I got lots of videos of dirt bike riding and the post-sample machine guns that I get to play with. So, good stuff.
All right. Yeah, thanks for having me on. Just want to say, give a shout out to all the guys at F3 in Chantilly, and the guys, the local group around here, which is spreading, which is the Modern American Shooters Forum. Check it out on Facebook. I want to say hi to Ike and obviously Nick, who's here, and the other admins on Concealed Carry in the U.S. and Responsible Armed, where we fight the derp daily, and we lose handily.
Well, some of us do contribute to the derp, so.
Yeah, it's because we're trying to start the fire. Anyway, so yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. Be good, stay safe, get training.
Yeah,
Steve, I'll jump to you there.
Yeah, just thanks for again for doing this, Nick. This has been a big deal. As far as pimping stuff, don't do the YouTube thing, just because I can't. But I do a Facebook, and it's just mainly my guns, my girls, and my guitar. So just look me up, Cad Bane, Cadbane. If you're interested. If not, that's cool too. And just a thought. This is personal stuff. I know we all want to protect our families and do what we can there. Don't forget those folks that may be infirmed. There's some things that they can do even with a little old stick that a lot of them are going to have, So the great aunt, great uncle, grandparents, things like that, maybe kind of helpless sitting there in the house. See what you can do, and I'm sure locally you can find some self-defense folks and just reach out to them and see what you can do as far as getting them some training, because they're not always surrounded by you, their loved ones, and sometimes just those little differences can a they know you care, and B it might make the difference between their lethal force engagement and seeing you guys again or not. So that's just a plug for those folks and reaching out for them. We can all do more for them.
Hey,
but thanks. It's been good.
I'll tell you what, is go look up Paul Gardner, for those that aren't familiar with Paul Gardner.
Yeah.
The dude's in a wheelchair and probably can run a gun better than 99% of people out there.
Awesome dude.
Yeah, the dude can run a gun. But no, again, awesome show, a lot of good stuff here. Again, we covered all the high-capacity mags, all the plain killers, all the red dots, all the canes. It's been an awesome show. So again,
we didn't talk flare guns, so wait.
I knew it was coming.
Wow.
I figured Aaron would pull that out.
But let's move on to Mr. Aaron. So Mr. Aaron, what's going on with Solo Defense? What do you got coming up? I know you got Nick from Weaponcraft coming out here. You got a lot of stuff going on.
We do. It's been a busy year so far. We've got one of our handgun classes, Handgun 1, on May 16th. And then we have State Dynamics and Weaponcraft. So we've got Cowan and Nick Smith coming out the 23rd and 24th for their hybrid 2-day handgun course. So and we got, summer is just creeping up on us. We've got a full schedule coming up. And I'm already excited to have Keith and Trek back out in November. It's a long way out, but we had them in first part of the year for a handgun class, and we're going to have them back out for a carbine class in November. So can't wait to see those guys again. But you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Solo Defense. Instagram is just Solo Defense. We have a website. Nobody goes to it. Thinking about changing.
Just tell everybody that there's naked pictures of women there.
Okay, well then there you go. You were going to be.
You convinced him. You really convinced him right there that those pictures are there.
Well then there's that. Yeah, to sign up for any courses, you can email me at solodefense3@gmail.com, or like I said, Instagram or Facebook, and that's where I live. Pretty much. Or on YouTube with Nick from Practical Tactical.
There you go. Or I've heard maybe Opcom. Maybe not. I don't know.
Opcom is making a comeback. That's what I've heard.
But no, we'll move to wrap up the show, guys. And again, can't thank these guys enough for coming on and talking about their stuff. Again, we got pretty 3 squared away dudes. One might be above and beyond, but again, it gives us all something to strive for. So. There you go, Josh.
Speed reload with the 33-round mag. That's what we want to see on YouTube.
Yep, there you go.
Speed reload with the 33-round mag.
And put it up.
I'm going to be on it.
But for everybody out there listening on podcasts, and again on YouTube, on YouTube, if you guys aren't checking out podcasts, I can tell you there's a ton of gun shows, a ton of great gun podcasts out there on podcasts on iTunes or Stitcher Radio. Stitcher Radio for those that are on Android. Again, check those out. But again, I got to plug Fat to Fit HQ podcast, because by the time this show hits podcast, I will have probably entered and died into the Tough Mudder in Chicago on May 9th. I'm not sure if this episode. I don't think this episode's going to make it out before then. But I will have gone to the Tough Mudder with Carol, Jake, Mike from the Reloading podcast, and the Tough Mudder will take my life. I'm going to die. He was like, just make sure you can walk 12 miles without cramps and you'll be good. I'm like, I can't walk up my stairs.
Don't worry about the electricity. Don't worry about the water. Just
Yeah, the Tough Mudder is going to take my life, and it's going to kill me. So for all the footage, check that out. Again, I'm sure there's going to be tons of hilarious video. There's probably going to be a video of me dying a quarter mile in front of the start line, crying about if this is over. So again, go check out Carol at the Fat to Fit HQ podcast. And again, she has actually really, really good info for those out there like me that need to go actually lose some weight. So again, check that out here. And as always, really want your feedback here at Practically Tactical. Please send any compliments, feedback, guest suggestions to nick@firearmsradio.tv. Also, please give us a review on iTunes. I really can't express enough how much that helps shows on iTunes about getting a review. And also find us on Facebook for all the posts we have. And again, if you want to see all the footage of me possibly shirtless shooting a 50 BMG in slow motion, you got to go find our Facebook page. So, again, thanks to these guys that are on here. No timeouts. We got to finish the show. So, as always, guys and gals, we thank you for tuning in. I thank you for listening to us, as we greatly appreciate it. And we'll catch you next week for another episode of Practically Tactical.